Welcome to week 4 in organizational politics. Hard to believe that we're halfway through the course. 2 large books that I have on my shelf. Leadership by James McGregor Burns and Management by Peter Drucker. That pretty much is it right there. And most of the time we are trying to balance these two as we work, and we should. But when we deal with politics, this is what we're dealing with. Politics is almost entirely on the leadership side. Now, management issues might enter into it, but how do we inspire? How do we lead people forward? How do we get them aligned with a strategy that we truly can manage? That's the challenge. And in week 4, you're going to continue your reading in Power, Politics, and Organizational Change. The portion you're looking at this time, you're going to enjoy. The entrepreneurial hero is a third kind of political leadership, and it's described in the book. Again, read the objectives at the beginning. It gives you some hints as to what to look for as you're working through the chapters. But you're going to find this, of course, very, very meaningful and applicable to what you're dealing with. Then you're going to continue with Survival of the Savvy. This time chapters 13 to 16, and it also deals with ethical lobbying and how to stand up to hidden agendas, how to respect ego, how to diffuse sabotage. So these are very positive tools that you're going to see in this part of the reading. And then in the lecture that I have for you, whereas last week we looked at the ground rules of politics, a realistic leadership, this time we're going to look at the playing field. And I describe it as the outfield and the infield. In the outfield, you look at the idea of where are you getting your information? How do the values and the unofficial values and the unspoken values all play into what's going on? So it falls back again to organizational culture, which is a bedrock for understanding politics. It also we're going to ask you to talk about or think about how things are working in your particular situation. I draw on the work of Machiavelli. This is The Prince. I want to read to you just the opening line of his first little chapter, in which he says, "All states, all dominions that have had and continue to have power over men were and still are either republics or principalities." And you need to know if you're working with a republic or a principality. Watch for that as you read the lecture. This will help open the doors to all kinds of understanding for you. Principalities make decisions based on the aristocracy, on heredity, on the people that have been around. Republics make decisions based on everybody's ideas working together. And often the two are mixed in most organizations, particularly in churches. That's the outfield. You'll also be looking at the infield, and that is the spiritual nature of what's going on in you. I build a little more on the devotional that I shared from this week, being willing and being willful. And I finally bring you down to an assignment in which I ask you to look at the classic list of the classic spiritual disciplines and consider something that most leaders never think about. Which particular spiritual discipline might aid you in your infield as you are dealing with a political situation in the outfield. And I'll ask you to describe the political situation a little, and then tell us how one of these disciplines or two may be particularly useful to you, such as solitude or meditation or simplicity, submission, study, worship, fasting, guidance. What are you needing right now from God and from His wise people as you are dealing with your situation? Now, just before I let you go, a couple of things I want to share with you that I think you'll find helpful. This book on primal leadership also deals with the inward nature of leadership as you're dealing with the outfield. They do not use these terms, but they talk about that inner life and your own emotions and how you impact the emotions of others. It is an excellent, excellent book, and I recommend it to you. And then my very favorite book on politics from the professor that taught me what I'm teaching you, The Character of Leadership. And the subtitle is Political Realism and Public Virtue in Nonprofit Organizations. It has a little title at the top, Rethinking Good Leadership in Light of a Fresh Encounter with Machiavelli. The term Machiavelli is used to degrade all kinds of leaders in politics. It's just become a term like that. But what Machiavelli actually taught us was what people do in fact and in deed, that we might choose more intentionally what we do, and we might do it with realism and virtue. It's a great book. Michael Jenkins and his wife Deborah Jenkins, and it's Jinkins. I recommend them to you. I look forward to continuing to work with you. I look forward to reading more of your reports as they come in, your analyses. It's going to be a great week, number 4.